Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen. In studio, we have a co-host. His name is Danny Miller, the author of The Gift of Acceptance. Of course, the insane Daryl Wayne is controlling all the buttons and things and keeping us on track. Dr. Dudley Danoff is our guest. He's a urologist, the author of The Ultimate Guide to Male Sexuality, and he's the founder of the prestigious Cedars-Sinai Tower Urology Medical Group in Los Angeles. He's been on the show numerous times, and as we squeak by with Gay Pride Month, I thought it would be appropriate to talk to Dr. Danoff and find out, so what did gay guys talk about at the urologist's office? Dr. Danoff, welcome back to Late Night Health. So,
it's always a pleasure to talk with you.
So what do they talk about?
Well, they talk about the same things straight guys do. They have the same worries about prostate cancer. They have the same worries about the aging prostate. They have the same worries about ED. They have the same insecurity about penis size. They wear the same hat.
So to speak.
So to speak.
Right. Unless they've had the hat removed. Are there any specific issues facing gay men versus straight men? And I have to be honest. There are so many different terms now with the fluidity of sexuality.
Right.
So I apologize in advance because I don't know all the correct terminology. I don't know if you do or not. Danny is learning about that.
I'm just learning it.
Right.
Well, I'm old school guy, and so I'm not up on the terms, but I certainly see the full spectrum of sexuality in both male and female patients. For me, there's heterosexual, bisexual, homosexual, and for the urologist, those are the three main categories. I'm sure there's all shades and nuances, but I'm not aware of it. Well, look, the problem for the gay man or the bi man is safe sex. Routine anal sex, which is in the gay community and the bi community, requires the use of a condom. And I think the pre-exposure drug prophylaxis, the PrEP drug, the medication that's been introduced is not adequate. We've seen 20 million new cases of STDs this year in the United States alone. People are getting a little bit careless. So as a mainstream urologist, I have to emphasize safe sex, to the gay man or the bi man. Not that I wouldn't emphasize it to the straight man, but anal sex in the heterosexual community is not obviously as common as it is in the gay community. So, safe sex. That's you got to get
number
on the top
one.
of the tallest, building and blow the trumpet.
And it's all, it's also STDs are very evident in senior citizen homes, and because they don't know that they need to do safe sex because
right.
1 week, 1 month, 6 months they're with Mrs. Shapiro, and next they go to Mrs. Bailey, but it's true.
Who knew?
Who knew? These guys are. Who knew? They're 80, 90 years old.
Yeah, Grandpa has the clap. Who knew?
Yeah, and it can be quite serious.
Yes, no, it can. I don't mean to make a joke about it at all. But you have to realize that in terms of male health issues, it's blind as to sexual orientation, with particular reference to prostate cancer. It's blind in reference to erectile dysfunction. A man is a man is a man at the end of the day.
And so, bringing in Danny's book, Gifts of Acceptance, everybody, you as a urologist, you've accepted it because it's just a man is a man is a man.
Oh, absolutely. Heterosexual men don't like to talk about sexual issues or sexual health. Gay men don't particularly like to talk about it. I mean, at least not to the urologist. So when I wrote my book, I was trying to get the penis out of the closet and say, look, the penis to the urologist is what the stomach is to the gastroenterologist. If you have a problem, don't be ashamed about it. Don't giggle and laugh every time you say the word penis. I mean, the first book I ever wrote was titled Penis Power, and I go on
I
television.
still love that book.
Dr. Danoff, this is Danny on acceptance again. With the more openness and more accepting of the gay community, the LGBT community.
Right.
Are you finding that leads to their more willingness to sort of open up to you, to share with you some of their, let's say, sexual issues or embarrassments or whatever? Is that a trend?
Well, I think that's a very fair statement, Danny. I mean, no question about it. As people become more comfortable talking about these issues and quote coming out of the closet, with pride, I think it's easier for them to talk to the urologist about problems of their sexuality, and that's held up for me. I mean, 10 years ago, it was still pretty much a secret. I don't ask my patients, are you gay or are you bi or are you in one of the other categories? I just usually ask them, are you married or single? Do you have one partner? And in my book, I kind of stay gender neutral. I use very little he, she. I talk about partners, because the same things apply to heterosexual males, bisexual males, homosexual males, transsexual males. So
that is an interesting thing just occurred to me. Let's take it from the physician's perspective. One thing about acceptance is that we try not to be judgmental, and I could tell just from talking to you with your great sense of humor that you put your patients at comfort. So, from the physician's perspective, do you find it important not to in any way to pass any kind of, I'm going to use the word judgment or anything similar to that?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's the same as if the examination of the prostate is an uncomfortable examination.
Yes.
No matter what your orientation is.
I know full well.
Your guy stands behind you with a rubber glove. You never met him before. The next thing he's doing is a digital rectal exam. So you have to, in a way, disarm the patient. You have to put a little humor into it. You have to be non-judgmental, and I think that applies across the board. My job, trying to be a good physician, is to let the patient feel free to tell me what's on his mind. I often say to these guys, I see more penises than can fill a Rose Bowl. You can talk to me about your dick. It's okay.
Okay.
I think is that appropriate, Daryl? We won't get the...
I saw that at a Monty Python graphic one time, the Rose Bowl full of penises. I think Terry Gilliam was responsible for that, yeah.
What about the blue pill? Is that still popular?
It's magic. Well, the most popular, and I think the most effective, is Cialis. Cialis 5 milligrams. It's been approved by the FDA for benign enlargement of the prostate, which is the disease of the aging prostate. So I recommend.
You mean it shrinks it?
Well, it does. That's what the FDA says. So 5 milligrams a day. You could pop an extra 1 or 2 up to even 20 milligrams a day if you think you're going to get lucky. But it's truly a magic pill. It's generic now.
You're talking to married men here. We
Say that again?
I said you're speaking with married men.
Right. Getting
Yeah,
lucky
well, listen,
getting lucky may not be a good thing
keep the
ultimately.
wives happy. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
I still call it lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, do you? Okay. But so Cialis is now been shown to actually shrink the prostate. It's funny. I was at my internist, and he's training a physician's assistant.
Right.
Right. And he said, "Hey, do you have 10 minutes?" I said, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Come here." And he said, "Open your hands. I'm going to do an ultrasound of your prostate. Let's just see how big it's gotten."
Right.
And he looked at it. He says, "You got the prostate the size of a 30-year-old man." I said, "Yeah, but."
And he wants it back.
Right. Well, it's very interesting about prostate size for the internist. So let me kind of, for your listeners, give you a little analogy. Urinary bladder is like a balloon which is upside down, and the prostate's like a donut or a collar around the neck of that balloon. And as a man gets older, the donut gets bigger and the hole in the donut gets smaller. So the volume of prostate doesn't really matter. You can have, say, 100-gram prostate, which is a big prostate, with a big hole in the middle and have no trouble urinating. On the other hand, you can have a 10-gram donut with a little hole in it, and you're in urinary retention. So size is not nearly so important as the opening, the diameter of the opening. And so Cialis both shrinks the donut and increases the opening. So that's what Cialis does.
But do you walk around, ready to go?
No, these drugs usually not. No, you have to be stimulated. So these are not drugs of desire. So when you take them, if you just take them and look at the ceiling, my grandmother said, "Gunished, nothing happened." So you need to be stimulated. I mean, you can wake up, with a nighttime erection, and it would be more frequent if you're taking Cialis. And unless you have coronary artery disease and are taking nitroglycerin, it's 100% safe drug, and it's $1 billion drug.
Yeah, it is. That's a whole bunch of money. And do most men take care of their prostate? And this is across the board. No matter what their sexual preference, I mean, do they go in for those digital exams that we should all have?
Not as often as they should. We're going to have probably 160,000 new cases of prostate cancer diagnosed in this country alone in the coming year. Every woman would never miss her yearly pap smear and a breast examination, mammogram. Men are macho, they want to catch the pass in the last minute of the champion game. And
of course.
They're invincible. Nothing's wrong with me. So, my job, or at least part of my job as a communicator, as an educator, is try to get these guys to come in for their annual digital rectal exam, their yearly PSA, which is a blood test.
It's really interesting because at Tower Urology, they also have a wedding chapel right next door. Listen, Dr. Danoff, thank you very much. The author of The Ultimate Guide to Male Sexual Health. I'm Mark Allen along with Danny and Daryl. We will be back as we speak about voice technology with Amy Summers from Pitch Publicity. Don't go away, more coming up.
The latest from the greatest, the best in new music by classic rockers, with your host, the insane Daryl Wayne.
This is Alice Cooper, and if Daryl Wayne is insane, what does that make me criminally insane? Stick around to find out.
Many of the artist interviews for the latest from the greatest have been captured on audiobook. There is a Volume 1 and Volume 2. Great information and conversations with people in the industry and people surrounded by the industry, and of course the rock stars themselves.
I'm the Reverend Al Green, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne. And I said Wayne Insane.
You can find it on Amazon or Blackstone Audio. Search for the latest from the greatest from Daryl Wayne, Darrell Wayne.
Hello, this is Weird Al Yankovic, and you're listening to the insane Daryl Wayne, aren't you?
There's a lot of talk all over the internet about the remarkable benefits of Carbon 60, and baby boomers are especially excited about it. Greska's Carbon 60 is the premium Carbon 60, developed by an aerospace and NASA scientist. 95% of Greska's customers report positive results from this Nobel Prize-winning technology in just 4 days. Imagine more energy, better health, and more vitality. It's very bioavailable to quickly mend toxin-crippled cells. This is a super powerful antioxidant. Bob Greska is so confident that you'll love his Carbon 60, he wants to send you a bottle at 50% off the regular price to see how life-changing this will be for you. Call 720-600-6040. That's 720-600-6040. Visit c-60.com to learn more. Call 720-600-6040 now or visit c-60.com.